Hi there, everyone. So, so I don't know how many of you were here whenever I did the talk, beginning of the year, I think, in Swansea. Is it?
Yeah.
I did some of you might have been here. So I did a kind of a talk on Alexa then. And tonight I'm going to really talk more about Lex, which is the new AWS product. But actually, I'm going to kind of introduce that by starting to talk about Alexa to put it in context and kind of highlight the differences. So, quick show of hands, how many people are familiar, heard of Alexa? And how many people, pretty much everyone, how many people have got a device at home? Okay, so yeah, so pretty good. Has anybody built skills and built anything on Alexa? Cool, okay. So, I'm not going to go too far into the technical details of Alexa, but I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the things about Alexa, and then we can show the kind of deltas of what makes Alexa differently. And then, yeah, coming on to it, I'll show off a bit of toys. I've got an Echo Show, the new device from the US that I got last week, so you can have a play with that in the break or something afterwards. It's mainly just because I think Matt wants to have a look at it. Okay, so yeah, this is me. I'm a developer advocate for Nexmo, but my email address is now Vonage because we got acquired by Vonage, who are a bigger US company, and it's all very complicated on the branding. But Nexmo is a Vonage subsidiary now. We're a developer brand, so we do APIs for phone calls, text messages, that kind of thing, anything you want to do programmatically involving the phone network, which one of the things you can do, of course, I'll show you, is hooking up Lex, so you can make a call and talk to a Lex bot via a phone call, perhaps put it in front of a call centre, that kind of stuff. Another thing my boss always asks me to do is, how many people have heard of Nexmo? Anybody? Let's just go back to Matt has in the last one. That's cool, that's fine. It's good if nobody's heard of us, because then I can say, look, I've told all these people about us and it's new, and it can justify my expensive claim. And as Matt said, I'm an Alexa champion, so we're like a community. So I don't work for Amazon, I have nothing officially to do with Amazon, but I'm a community developer, hobbyist, enthusiast. My main stuff I started off doing was building Alexa on a Raspberry Pi. So I created the first kind of build your own Amazon Echo. There's a blog post called the $10 Echo that I wrote, which was about 18 months ago now, something like that. Christmas just gone, not just gone, the one before, and that kind of got quite a lot of excitement and traction. So I wrote some code that allowed you to kind of talk to the Alexa API and put that into your own devices on Raspberry Pis and things like that, and that code still seems to resurface in various forms in different people's projects. I've come across it and stuff. It's quite strange, and it's still going as a project. So I'm going to talk initially about Alexa. So, as you know, Alexa is Amazon's cloud-based voice service. Alexa is the service, not the devices. Most things people sometimes get. This is not an Alexa. This is a tap or an Echo, the hardware. But it's the cloud-based voice service that can be accessed from either Amazon hardware or third-party hardware. So there's a few other devices that can implement Alexa, including your own, and also apps. There's lots of them, but there's quite a good one called Reverb? Yeah, Reverb on the iPhone. I think it's on Android as well now, and Mac, which is like a soft Alexa client, so you can just have it as an app on your phone and talk to Alexa. Alexa is therefore linked to your Amazon account as a consumer. So as your Amazon.co.uk, same account you use for Prime and music and shopping and all of that kind of stuff, it's associated to a consumer Amazon account or a family. There's a kind of interaction for that. As before, Echo, the hardware, is to Alexa as the iPhone is to Siri. So, and the other thing is worth probably mentioning, especially for AWS groups, is Alexa isn't really an AWS thing. Alexa is an Amazon thing, like the Fire tablet. So you can, obviously, if you're building skills on Alexa and that kind of thing, you generally end up writing them to run on Lambda, but you don't have to even use Lambda now. And the whole Alexa developer stuff is within developer.amazon.com, not within the AWS console, which we'll see Lex is in AWS. I guess the main thing to do as well is Alexa is a consumer product, or it's something that the end user knows they're dealing with Alexa. Users, they know they're talking to Alexa, and they already have a relationship with her. Some people more than others. And Alexa knows who the user is, because when you get a new device, you sign into your Amazon account, you associate it. So the Alexa service kind of knows it's you, or it's one of your devices that's accessing it, and it has your association with your account. So you can do things like, there's account linking, and therefore you can remember who a user is and all that kind of stuff. Within Alexa then you have skills. So there's a whole bunch of built-in, they're really features, but you can think of them much like skills and features are the same thing. So the built-in stuff, add stuff to my shopping list, tell me a joke, wake me at 7 AM, what's the weather like in Brisbane tomorrow, all that kind of built-in stuff. And then you can extend it with third parties can create their own skills. So skills are really like apps. So you might have a Domino's Pizza skill, or a train times skill, or a Capital One credit card skill. I seem to always highlight this stuff. I've never quite understood why I want to ask about my credit card. But, so you have all the skills on top of the platform. So the skill is installed onto your Alexa account, not onto your individual device. Therefore, every device, so if you're sad like me and have, I think I have 9 Echo devices, including the 2 shows in the house now. It's getting a bit of a problem. But all of those devices can access all of my skills. I just add a new device to my account, and all the skills are available to those devices. And I can't tell. The other thing is that a skill itself, when a third-party skill runs, it has no idea which one of those devices I've accessed it from. So it doesn't know if I'm using the Echo in my lounge, the show on my desk, the app on my phone, or where I am. It just knows it's coming from Sam's Alexa account right now. So a skill has no context really, other than it's coming from you. So you generally assume that Alexa is used in the home up until now for most people. But obviously, as we start to get things like Alexa embedded in cars and that kind of stuff, it becomes a bit different, or so it becomes more a portable, ubiquitous device. So right now, the skill is separated from the device by that Alexa cloud. So yeah, Alexa devices, we'll see a few. So we've got the Dot, which probably most have seen, the Tap, which is this one, which you may not have seen. This is still what I think actually is probably the best device. It's a US only device at the moment. It came out with the launch, or certainly with the launch of the Dot, I seem to remember. It's been out a fair while. And it's a portable, wireless, rechargeable Alexa. So it has a little base it can stand on to charge, but you don't have to have it plugged in, which is fantastic for doing demos and talking to people. The other thing is it doesn't have the far field mic array, so it doesn't work so well being put in the middle of a room and talking to it from a distance. It does in a quiet room, but not as well as, say, the Echo would or something. But it also works very well if you hold it up close. The idea is that you press the button originally to talk to it, and you press the button and talk like a phone. So it's fantastic when I'm standing on stage and doing demos, because I'm not trying to invoke a far field service. And it does now have the wake word, so I can say Alexa to it, and it's switch off this one, that's the Wi-Fi. But you can wake it up with a software update. The Echo, probably everyone knows the kind of original device that I'm seeing, and then the Show over on the far right. So the Show is this new device with a screen. So it's very much like an Echo. It has the far field stuff. It has fairly good speakers, but it has probably a 6-7-inch screen on the front and a little webcam above it, and you can do video calls between them or to the Alexa app. So it's an interesting device. I've had it about a week. I'm not quite sure yet. It feels a bit odd. Alexa is a voice-centric thing, and the screen on the Show is a bit distracting, really. You don't want to, think about it. You just talk to her wherever you are. You don't have to kind of walk up to a device. A couple of ones across the top. Well, we've got the Fire TV stick, of course, now in the middle. So that has a variant of Alexa implemented on it. The Trippy on the right is the third-party one. So that's like an internet radio type device. It's kind of designed to stick on your fridge door. I think it's magnetic and stuff. But it has Alexa built in. And there's the Co-Watch as well, which is a smartwatch with Alexa built into your watch. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff, thermostats, and the drive from Amazon seems to be to embed Alexa in everything. I think they almost want to get to the world where Alexa isn't a dedicated device like the Echo, but their long-term goal is that Alexa is in your TV, your thermostat, your light switch, your cooker, your fridge, your whatever it might be. So there's just any connected device. And it is fairly easy to add, because all you really need is a device that has an internet connection, a speaker, and a microphone. So at that extent, it's not, there are a lot of things that already have that built into them. Okay, so now on to the main stuff I want to talk about, Lex. This is the Lex icon from the AWS iconography, which when you blow it up like that looks quite big brotherish. I've done the slide. So Lex was announced at reInvent last year. There's a in preview, in developer preview. I think it's invite only. Went general availability in April this year. It's only in US East, and the main thing about that is also it only really supports US English, US languages. So as you'll probably see, it may struggle a little bit with my British accent. I would imagine, I don't know officially anything, but that there will be, they'll be rolling it out again to more regions and to support more languages specifically in the not too distant future. Amazon described that as a platform for conversational applications, and one of the little joke lines, what I quite liked it is, Lex is what's inside Alexa. So it's the, when I say what's inside, it's not just the Alexa APIs though, it's quite low level. What it really means by that is, it's the AI and the speech processing and the machine learning and that kind of underlying technology that was developed for Alexa has been kind of lifted out and exposed through AWS, but without the kind of full service wrap that you have around the Alexa platform. Which means you can therefore embed it into your own kind of products. A few things. So when we're talking to Lex, Lex supports both speech and text as an input, whereas Alexa is a pure speech device. It's audio in, audio out. We'll ignore the screen for a minute, but it's a voice-driven device. Lex can be purely textual. You can build a chatbot with Lex, and you can talk to it via SMS or Facebook Messenger or Slack or whatever your own, you can just build your own little text input and you can just feed it text and it will respond back in text. It also has a kind of dual mode that I think with every speech response you get back, you also get back the text of the speech response, so you can do kind of text in, speech out, or vice versa. Amazon provide software development kits for mobile, so for Android and iOS, that you can embed the Lex endpoint into your application. So you create your own interface, your own little chat interface, or your own way of capturing voice inside a mobile app, and then you just fire that, or the SDK takes care of firing that off to the Lex API and getting back a response. There's also a REST endpoint, so you can directly hook up to Lex yourself and feed it text or feed it speech. And then they have a number of channel integrations, as they call them. So within the AWS console, you'll see you can just say, make this bot available in Slack, Facebook Messenger, a couple of others I think coming online. And then what we've done at Nexmo is we've built we're kind of a third-party channel integration right now, so we call it our Lex Connector. We built a bit of code that talks directly to the REST endpoint as a hosted service, so that you can just hook one of our phone, hook a number from us up straight into the Lex point without having to kind of touch it yourself. We also open sourced the code for that though, so you could dive deeper or extend it. So the three main ways you can hook into it. So again, thinking about the differences with Alexa, Lex is a platform, it's not a product. It's the thing underneath. So just like EC2 or DynamoDB or something, or Lambda, your customers don't know what they're using. If they go to your website and it's being served off CloudFront, they don't really know, care, or need to know. It's just the work behind the scenes. So yeah, users don't know it's Lex they're talking to. They think it's your whatever that bot. So if you decide to give it a persona, so let's say you're going to embed kind of a Lex-based bot on your e-commerce site to be the kind of a, hi, I notice you're looking at shoes, how can I help you with blah, 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 blah. My name is whatever, Sharon the shoe saleswoman. You can give it your own persona completely. Lex doesn't support the full range of Poly voices yet. It basically supports the American ones, or the only ones you can select. Poly's got a whole load, including it's got Welsh, which is actually really cool. I quite like that. And there's Welsh speaking, Welsh with a Welsh accent, and then English with a Welsh accent. So instead of having that kind of auto-generated, and we actually support Poly inside our text-to-speech APIs in Nexmo. We use Poly as our engine for that. So whenever I build demos, they have names, all the different voices. So it would be like Gwyneth is the Welsh with an English accent. So you say your voice name Gwyneth and it talks to you in a Welsh accent. It's brilliant. It's far better than those kind of fake horrible American ones. But it does also mean you can have Poly at least render out Welsh with text-to-speech, which if you're doing anything in the public sector, I believe in Wales, you have to support both languages in order to get that thing. So actually that's probably quite a useful point if you're ever looking at any kind of voice stuff. Anything that's using Tommy, you'll probably be able to implement Welsh. Because it's bring your own access, as I call it, so the idea of Alexa is it's available on devices. With Lex, you have to somehow implement how the customer is going to interface with that, be that in your app, on your website, on your own piece of hardware. There's no wake word as such, or anything like that, because that's so you don't say Lex, you have to decide how to capture the input from the user and feed it onto them. Again, and the user doesn't know therefore know what they're using because they're not talking to a specific name. And yeah, Lex is a part of AWS, so it's inside the AWS console. There's the blue section, which is artificial intelligence, I believe they call it on that one. So you've got Poly, Lex, recognition, which is some image recognition, and a fourth one, machine learning. Anyway, we'll look up. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of them down there. We'll see in the console. So again, just a little simple summary. Lex is speech or text, multiple voices, and single function bots. So it's you closely couple the one thing. You would build a single service rather than being a platform for accessing multiple different skills. It's better shown kind of this diagram, which when I first started using with Lex, I was trying to explain to my wife as to what the difference between, well, she asked me actually, what the difference between Lex and Alexa was. And it was kind of, well, it's the guts of it. But the way to think of it is like the type of integration. So if you think of it as Alexa as having a horizontal integration, so you have a whole bunch of devices, then you have the Alexa cloud in the middle, and you have a whole bunch of skills, and it's a kind of a many-to-many relationship that way. With Lex, you have the access method, be that Facebook Messenger, phone call, text message. You have the little Lex bot, and then you have the skill, and they are closely coupled in a one-to-one method. So when you expose your access method, you are linking that straight through to the skill. These are just random kind of corporate icons I picked. I'm not saying there is a TFL skill or an RBS or whatever that one is. They were just when I was putting together the slides, kind of the idea being that rather than being multiple companies on one platform, it's a single vertical integration. And actually, that's kind of useful for a lot of things. So one of the things, the first things I thought about with Lex, it was quite interesting when I started playing with Alexa, was the idea of train times. Let's take that. So, especially on smaller little stations. I live in a little village in Somerset, and we've got a local train station, but it's not manned and everything. There's no, there's one information screen, but they've got this circular information thing on the wall, which is a speaker and a button, and you press the button, and what it actually does right now is it phones up the National Rail Inquiry's call centre. So when you press that blue button, because I did it once because I was bored and nobody ever presses them, you hear it make a phone call. It picks up, it's got a regular phone on it, dials tones, and it connects you through to National Rail Inquiries, and you just talk to somebody and say, I want to know what time, how do I get from here to here, or all that kind of stuff. That would be a fantastic thing to implement a bot for. They've already got the speech interface, but instead of it going through to a call centre, I want to be able to press the button and it plays a automated message saying, how can I help you? And I say, what time is the next train to Bristol? And it should be able to do that. Now, implementing that with Alexa, technically you could do. We could build the Alexa voice service into that thing on the train platform. But actually, that's probably not what we want to do, because one, we'd have to kind of tie it to an Amazon account. Okay, well, we could set up an Amazon account just for all the train stations, but it's a bit hacky. But also, all the built-in skills of Alexa would be available from that thing. So I could walk up to it and say, what's the weather like in New York? Or tell me a joke, or, tea, Earl Grey, hot, or all the hidden Easter eggs that are in Alexa. And also, of course, it would kind of be assuming that, it's coming. It wouldn't even be able to know potentially which platform it was on, because if we tied them all to the same Amazon account, and it really is kind of a stretch to implement Alexa in that shared public information kind of model. Lex, on the other hand, would be brilliant, because we could build some hardware into the device that accesses the API. So we could maybe use a phone call, or we could embed the REST API, so we can capture the voice on that little device on the train platform. We can pass it through Lex, and Lex can invoke our skill that we've written, which is how to do a train time lookup skill. And the way we write skills right now for Lex and Alexa is similar. It's not quite the same, because they're sort of, you know, they're cousins, if nothing more. And there's a lot of stuff, there's things within Alexa kind of that you can do which you wouldn't do within a Lex skill because it's a bit more raw. I think, you know, we all see possibly convergence or tools that allow you to kind of port one to the other. If you've written a skill for Alexa, it's probably easier in some ways to write a skill for Lex because it's a subset. But as I sense of the idea that you would use Lex in a shared kind of public context potentially, and you'd use Alexa as a personal home product service. So, you know, and also again, it's relationship. If you've got a long-term relationship with the customer, you would build an Alexa skill to put on their device. So, you know, I suppose capital one. Something I'm going to be asking Alexa every day. What's my credit card balance? What's my credit card balance? Versus something I'm just going to drive by and I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to register. I'm not going to sign in. It's public information. So it's more like, you know, the web versus apps, that kind of stuff. I guess, you know, DVLA is probably quite an interesting one there. That maybe you just want to have an Alexa or have a Lex bot built into the website that can tell me things without kind of having to, you know, I'm not going to. If I want to know what the, you know, MOT, when's the MOT due on this car or something, I'm not necessarily going to want to install that permanently on Alexa because I'm going to ask it once a year maybe. Something like that. Okay, how are we doing for time? Cool. So what I was going to do is I'm going to walk through, we're going to try building a bot on Lex. So this is, if I go to the this is a GitHub repo, but really it's the README predominantly. The sample code is also in here of how to set it up, so you can follow along. What I'm going to do is try and get these side by side. Yes. And of course, it's probably going to have to. I may have to use some slightly different names for things because I've already got one of these built on my account. Okay, so here we are. We have the AWS console. So for the artificial intelligence, we have Lex, Poly, recognition, and machine learning. So we're going to jump into Lex. The IAM stuff is just setting up a user, which you guys are probably familiar with anyway. I've already done that. So let's delete hello name and recreate hello name. Delete bot and recreate bot. So this is my home page of my Lex console and the bots that you have created, so I have another one there, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a new bot. There's a couple of example ones here which are kind of complete scaffold samples. There's a book a trip kind of travel agent one, ordering flowers for some reason. There's the other obvious one of things, and something for scheduling appointments. But we're just going to say create a custom bot. Our bot we're going to call hello name, which is one up from hello world. Right now, say the language is just US, but we've got a selection of voices, so we'll have Kimberly.
Hello, my name is Kimberly.
And we're going to just set our session timer for now for 2 minutes. It's all right. It's a really simple bot. The service role is already created now. I think actually this code might be updating because it does the IAM stuff for you. And they want to know if you're going to make it available to children. There's something to do with Americans' Copper Act and stuff. So we'll say no for now. Okay. The next thing, so we'll ignore the aliases for a minute, is going over to the editor. And intent, yes. So what we need to do is create an intent. So if you've done anything with Alexa, an intent, it's the same kind of concept. So we're going to create an intent, create a new intent. I bet it's going to say yes, it already exists because the intents are, although they're used in your bots, they're also separate. You can share them across multiple bots. So if we go back to intent, back to bots, back to hello name, back to create intent, right. It'll now let me create a new one called hello name. Hello name. And then we have these sample utterances. So this is part of the machine learning where these are things you could say to the bot that is your intent. So an intent is an action I want to do. So in this instance, we're having a really simple one with one intent, which is just, I'm going to say hello to it. But you might have a couple of different ones, like, if you're doing a train times one, when is the next train from to, or, are there delays on X line, and there would be different intents. But we have to give it a few different ways of asking it, and then the machine learning kind of takes care of figuring out. So if you tell it, these are the 3 ways I could ask it this question, it will kind of fill in the gaps. And the more you give it, the better it kind of will be, but generally 3 to 5 for simple stuff seems to work. So, hello, my name is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put name in curly braces here, which will become clear in a minute. And also I could also say, hi, I am name. And one more, I'll just say hi, I'm. There's only a few ways you can introduce yourself, really, isn't there? Okay. We then have, so this name, you'll see on my screenshot here that these are in blue right now, but they're not on here. So we need to create a slot. So a slot is something within an utterance, within an utterance, which is a variable. We always say hello, my name is, but you might say hello, my name is Matt, and I would say hello, my name is Sam. Therefore the slot is the person's name. So the slot is going to be called name, and it is going to have, they have a whole bunch of different types. So again, this is part of the kind of how it learns stuff. We have got somewhere GB first name. I think D first name. A lot of these are copied over from Alexa. Around GB city, GB first name. There we go. So we're gonna tell it, this is if you've got something custom, train stations again is a good example of that. You might have to create a custom slot type called UK rail train stations, and you would just upload a CSV or a list of all the stations, and therefore it would know these are the possible values. So you have to kind of teach it, things like that. Okay. So for now, initially, just for testing, we're going to leave this thing checked in fulfillment that says return parameters to client, and I'm going to hit build. So what we've done here is we've created a oh, that's interesting. I've got a generic null error message. That worked. That's really helpful. Status not built. That's what I'll do is I haven't saved the me not creating the slots correctly. Really need the prompt from there. There we go. But you see those have gone blue now because it's recognised as a slot. Okay, let's try building. Start. So build is the kind of the kick back end that figures out your models. So what you're really doing is you're not building a model here, you're giving it a whole bunch of hints and guides that it will use to build the model for itself. Usually reasonably quick, especially the simpler. Obviously the more options, the more stuff you've got there.
Hello, my name is Joanna.
I do not know why it's not happy with that. Because let's just create a new one and give it a
name is Kimberly.
Just flip through this. So we'll just attach the intent we've already used. Slot. Always fun doing live demos. So what we're doing here is we're just building the bot piece, but obviously the actual kind of business logic intelligence. Aha, there we go, bot's built. So we said before, return parameters to client is what I checked here, so I haven't linked it to a function, which is where my actual kind of code would work. All I'm building here is a structure of something that can take some natural language and parse it, figure out what intent it is, map it to, and create what was known as a structured request, which is what is then fed to your Lambda code that says, okay, this intent has been invoked and these are the parameters and stuff. So this is like the front end piece. But we can talk to it here through so I can say, hello, my name is Sam, and it should respond with fairly simple, ready for fulfillment, meaning I passed it name Sam because it's taken out that one slot. So it's like an echo test piece, but without wiring it straight up to a bot. And in theory, we can also talk UX and stuff. Hello, my name is Sam. Ready for fulfillment, Sam. So it also recognises speech. This is just your little kind of test console within it. But now what we want to do is we want to hook this up to a Lambda function. So do something with that data. So all it knows is it's recognised the command and said this is the intent you want to invoke, and the name slot contains is Sam. So if I go into Lambda, I already have a function here somewhere called Lex Hello Name. So this is just a little bit of Node.js. It's kind of built based off the scaffolding example that they give you, where we have a handler. So coming in here, export handler, the main handler is what's invoked by it. We'll get an event, a context, pull back, passes it to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher just does a really simple, because we only have a single thing we're going to run. So we're going to grab slot's name out of the structured request, and we're just going to respond back. So this is our response that goes back to it with content type plain text, because we're not using SSML and stuff like that, and say, hello, name, it's nice to meet you. So what we'd expect, this code is basically saying when you get the structured request for invoking hello name, just reply back with hello, whatever the name is, it's nice to meet you. So that's my if I link this now to latest, and I can now select my function. These are all my Lambda functions. So Lex hello name. Okay, save that. So now I can say, hello, my name is Sam, and it hasn't worked because I haven't built it, that's why. Rebuild when you change things. I think it was faster when I was doing it this morning because there's nobody in the US doing anything. Okay. Latest, let's try again. Hello, my name is Sam. Hello Sam, it's nice to meet you. So that's gone off, invoked the Lambda function, and rendered back the response. So really that's pretty much it for building your Lexbot, or the simplest one. The other thing, I was actually very quickly, it may take Yeah. Is therefore how we can now hook up a phone call. So this is the Nexmo piece. So we have we've built an example of this integration. So the way we control phone calls is we use something called an NCCO. It's a Nexmo Call Control Object. And all that is really is a chunk of JSON it's a script of what to do with a phone call. So we have actions, we can say talk, and the voice that we're going to talk in, so we use the same voice as Kimberly. So this is saying basically when the call comes in, we're going to answer the call and say, hello, I'm Lex, who are you? And then we're going to connect it through here to this WebSocket endpoint, which is our Lex Connector. And this looks very much like, there's more docs on this, but this is the path you would give it for talking to Lex. The only thing I'm going to have to do really quickly is edit this, because we changed the name of our bot from hello name to name because it wouldn't build name. JSON, desktop. So I'm just serving this JSON this time off S3 as a static file. You obviously could dynamically generate it, but we just need a URL that's going to return some JSON. So the easiest way to do that is to put it up on S3. Upload that. Replace it. Name. Okay, and what I've got is I've already linked up a phone number to that. So 1200. See if it works.
Hello, I am Lex. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Sam. No, I know why that doesn't work, because I didn't actually publish the bot. Let's publish it with ideas of prod. Publishing somewhere. Anyway, we'll have a look at that later. Just see if that's any bit. Okay, what's published? Let's just give it one more try. If it doesn't work. It's a bit odd, shouldn't it, really?
Hello, I am Lex. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Sam.
Hello, no. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, it got Noel from speakerphone and an English accent. We kind of get the principle then. Cool. So that's about it, really.